Buff Metal back with another video. What is going on, guys? Today, before I get into the subject matter of today's video, which is going to be OSDM, old school death metal, I wanted to talk about some channel, not news, but like some speculation about the channel that's been at the forefront of the Buff Metal news lately. And that's that when there was a live stream a little while back of Mordant Red and J-Dog, I guess Mordant Red brought me up, and a bunch of you guys were kind enough to reach out, and they were like, I guess J-Dog was like, oh, should I do a video with him or something like that? And obviously, man, dude, I would love to do a video with J-Dog. Obviously, I'm a huge Hell's Headbangers fan. But, dude, at the end of the day, man, like, I'm going to have to say, like, dude, maybe you guys should comment, do a video with it. Because, one, I'm not, just out of my own pride, you know, whatever. I'm not paying $100. I just can't do it. You know, I'm not paying to talk to another man. I can't do that. But if he wants to work, man, you know, I'd be more than down. But if he doesn't, I also get that too. Dude, I'm a smaller channel. So as much as I'd love to be on the dog, you know, I just, I ain't paying, all right? It's not how the Buff Metal works, you know? But regardless, man, yeah, dude, I kind of felt honored to have even been brought up in that conversation in the first place, and that all of you guys, you know, reached out and let me know too. That was, all of it was really cool. So shout out to Mordant Red and the dog for, you know, years of entertainment and killing the game. So let's get into it. Who killed OSDM, all right? Who is it that's responsible for the death of old school death metal? I've been thinking about this, man, because, dude, I've been running some stuff back, all right? It's funny, dude. I am not an, just like, I have to say this with every genre, right? I am not the OSDM expert. I am not, like, scouring the old school. I've been listening to a bit, though, lately, right? Stuff that I don't usually, like Malevolent Creation. Who else? I Convulse, if you consider that. You know, OSDM. And a few other of those bands, man. And I don't know, dude. Some of that old school stuff, man, there's nothing that really ever quite you know, what I should say is there's nothing that quite sounds like that now. You know what I'm saying? I don't find that a lot of bands coming out now are really trying to capture that just riff and, you know, good catchy song writing and stuff like that. Now, I have a massive stack of albums today I'm going to talk about in regards to, you know, kind of the point I'm trying to make here. But I felt like back in the day, it wasn't so much about the brutality. Nowadays, it seems like it's the brutality that seems to be at the forefront of what people are trying to do musically. And that's cool, man. You know the deal. I love the brutal stuff. I love brutal death metal and, you know, war metal and all that crap. But how many bands have come out recently that have that riff heavy energy that, like, you know, let's start talking about bands here. Let's just get right into it. Dude, like, Scream Bloody Gore, right? Like, dude, now, mind you, you know what's interesting about a lot of these albums I'll talk about? They're not super, like, low-end heavy, you know, if you know what I mean by that. Or I don't speak that language, so let me just make that clear. I'm saying this as a poser, okay? Like, I don't know. All I mean by that is, like, it seems like the mid-range, the guitars and stuff like that, it seems like that's a little more present on some of these older albums, right? So here we have Scream Bloody Gore. This is one of the first death metal albums I ever bought back in the day. This isn't even a relapse pressing. This is Back on Black. I think it's better, dude. It's nice as hell, dude. I always loved having this copy, and yeah, dude, my local record store gave this to me way back when. It was sitting in there, and it's funny, they had the relapse stuff, and the guy was like, wait, I got a copy for you here, and, you know, and he gave me this. He was like, this one's the better, superior version, so I was always gassed. But yeah, man, this was one of the first albums I ever heard, and goddamn, dude, there's still nothing like it, dude. Just in the damn, like, Denial of Life, Zombie Ritual, Evil Dead, there's just nothing that has that evil and, like, I don't know what you call it, dude. It's just like the songwriting and evilness and everything like that. There's nothing that sounds like that. Same thing with this album. Used to freak me the fuck out when I was getting into this shit, man. This is one of the first ones. This might even be what I bought before Scream Bloody Gore, but Possessed Seven Churches. I know everyone always bounces back and forth between these two as, you know, whatever the favorite is. But look, here we go. Another beautiful pressing here. Dude, what is there out there that sounds quite as thrashy as this? And I think thrash metal plays a big part in what made this, the OSDM shit stand out, you know, and sound kind of different is it seemed more thrash influenced rather than death metal influenced. And I feel like maybe nowadays bands must be a little more influenced by death metal, you know what I mean? And well, like, yeah, obviously, but like at the same time, dude, it's funny because it doesn't feel like, you know, a lot of people now are taking much from thrash, you know, it doesn't, they're in, before I get, you know, roasted or whatever, dude, I know there's a million death thrash bands, dude. I know that. I'm aware of this. You'd be hard-pressed to find any that sound as, you know, catchy and ripping as this. Because, again, I found with a lot of death thrash, dude, it just goes into, for some reason, that equates to a lot of these bands. It's like, all right, let's make it really reverby and shitty-sounding production. And, dude, I don't know, man. Death thrash is actually one of those genres I'm really not too fond of. And you know another thing, too, while we're on the subject of death, man, like, how many album covers do you see like this? Look at that classic. I think that's the Ed Repka album cover. Like, how often do you see, like, this classic kind of art anymore, dude? I just don't think that you do. Yeah, it is Ed Repka. But, yeah, dude, like, it's almost like that Megadeth, and, you know, I think, I forget who else he worked for, a bunch of people, Evil Dead, and, you know, the band Evil Dead. Regardless, dude, it's iconic. It's almost like those pulpy books that, if you maybe you guys have heard of them, the horror books, they're called Paperbacks from Hell. There was nothing out there, dude, that looked like those books, and they sold on that alone, which is just like the exact same thing I feel like a lot of these OSDM albums did. Look at Altars of Madness, dude. Again, I know I'm bringing up all the generic ones today, but I never really talk about these or play them. And sometimes, dude, even though we all know stuff, right, like, when was the last time you spun it? You know what I mean? And Altars of Madness, dude, I couldn't tell you the last time I spun this, man, but it doesn't mean I like it any less, dude. Although these days, man, Abominations of Desolation, dude, I tend to play that more, you know? But, dude, just as far as, like, classic shit goes, dude, again, one of the earlier records I picked up in my you know, collecting career, absolutely killer, dude. Just that Immortal Rights. Me and my wife always used to go, oh, why? We used to like, we didn't know the words. We would just go, you know, just like always kind of making fun of that song. Like, if we were just like sitting there quiet, one of us would do it. But regardless, dude, yeah, man, fun, very fun album. And maybe that's another part of it, dude. It seemed like, you know, when the songs would break down, you get that boom, 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 boom. You're like, oh shit, or some of the bass lines on this thing are fucking nasty too, dude. It's like, yeah, I'd never heard anything like this. It melted my brain more so than even these guys got melted in the album cover. You know, like, there's nothing that really hits quite like a brain melter, you know? It almost like sends you for a loop because it's so out of what you're used to, where you're like, oh shit, what am I listening to? What is this, man? You know, and that's a lot of the OSDM, dude. That's the what I got, you know, dude. Let's talk another band. I guess it's OSDM, but not quite, dude. But the second Carcass album, Symphonies of Sickness, dude. Again, I throw it in this camp, even though I know you could say it's gore grind or whatever, man, but like to me it's still in that camp of like when you're talking classic early death metal, dude. Like, let's just like dumb it down a bit here and let's not get all finicky about it, dude. The first time I heard excoriating abominable emanations, dude, like rupturing pulescence, dude, like these songs, man, they blew my mind. Because I just like, especially, dude, compare this to any one of the albums that I just showed so far. And, dude, it's completely different. Dude, it was like, how did you even come up with this, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day when there was no reference. And maybe that's one of the problems now, is that there's too many references, right? We have too many references and things kind of like, you know, influencing us. And dude, and like, it's hard to get away from, especially when you love shit too. It's like, think about all the clones that came from Carcass, and I love all that stuff, man. I love Dead Infection, you know, Pharmacist, Pathologist, like all those Carcass clones, even, oh dude, I wanted to get that split, the Six Sinus Syndrome and Eat the Decay split, but that just came out. It's on, Fuck Off and Die, I think. Dude, if you can grab it, dude, man, because both those bands are killer. But yeah, that Sick Sinus Syndrome, that's really good Carcass worship that I feel like people don't talk about as much, but they just did a split with Eat the Decay. I wanted to grab it so bad, but it was like, I was going to get that and Disgorge, Mexico's Gore Relics. And for those two records, came out to $100 with shipping because it's European. And I was like, yeah, dog, not today. You know, but regardless, man, yeah, dude, no one did it like Carcass, dude. And the legacy they went to set up. And dude, let's talk about another band that really can't be recreated. And I know there's like a few bands, but this has been a common point with this band, OSDM band. Dude, Deicide. No one ever did this again, man. No one ever did this, you know, the self-titled or especially Legion, dude. Neither one of these albums were ever done again, you know? And dude, it's just Lunatic, God's Creation, Dead by Dawn, Blaspherion. Dude, so many good classic, like, they stuck in your head, dude. It's like they were still heavy metal and thrash enough to be, like, really, really catchy. You know, and maybe again, that's what we keep circling back to here is catchiness to some degree. You know what I mean? And the sound, you can't tell me anything sounds quite this evil, man, you know? And dude, it was like, it must have been back in the day, dude, when this shit was coming out and, you know, Christianity was still mainstream and stuff like that. Must have been actually scary, dude, to have a dude like Glenn Benton out there, you know? But, and you know, genre pushing. But holy shit, dude, like there was nothing ever came out that quite sounded like Deicide, man. And dude, I'm just talking about the OG shit here today, but I love so much, even In Torment and Hell and Scars of the Crucifix, which I've talked about on the channel before, you know, Scars being one of my favorite. Just because I feel like I remember seeing it as a kid and it freaking me out, you know, like the album cover and stuff. It was just so evil, you know, but that's the thing with Deicide, dude. Nothing feels this evil anymore. You know what I mean? Now let's talk about another band, dude. Another one that this band, I feel like there are exceptions now. There's one band I like a lot, Molder, which is definitely like a you know, kind of. I don't want to say it's a continuation of this band, but because it's got some like Obituary and stuff in it. But dude, Molder takes big influence from, you know, obviously Autopsy. And dude, I talk about Severed Survival a lot because, dude, gun to my head, probably choosing Severed Survival. But every time I throw this on, man, it's funny because this one's a little slower, a little doomier, you know what I mean? And that used to turn me off about it. And now I like it a little more. Again, look at that album cover. God damn it. That like, that art style, man. So that's like, I forget, I don't know who does the cover art by Kev Walker. So I don't know what else Kev Walker has done, but dude, this like real tangible art style too is just like, it's too good, man. It's too good. And like, it sets the atmosphere so well. It has that like tangibility. Again, where are those album covers nowadays, man? You don't see stuff like that too often, you know? And I don't know, man. Autopsy, dude, the drums, the sound, the drugginess. Obviously, that's one of the things that, you know, turned me on to it. Just in the grip of winter, dude, that it's just so good. The groovy, and like the drums, dude, just absolutely killer. No one really did this vocal style either. Yeah, dude. So again, major props to Autopsy. They were never one of my favorites either. I think I did a short on my favorite Autopsy material, and it's this Severed Survival. And there was an EP, Fiend for Blood EP, I believe. That I also love too, but a lot of their early stuff, man, was really killer. Now let's talk the hitters, man. Again, I liked this band. Actually, I like this band in literally every phase. But let's talk. It's funny. This wasn't the CD that I originally planned on using for this video, but yeah, let's talk Butchered at Birth, man. Just because I feel like this one drives the point home that I was trying to make. I was going to talk about the bleeding, you know, but this is when they kind of, I don't know. I love this album, dude. And it's not that I don't love the bleeding, but as far as what the point I'm trying to make, dude, like what I really am talking about is more of that thrashy sound, you know? And well, not that Autopsy necessarily has that, but one of the elements I find, you know, missing from a lot of these newer death metal bands is that thrashiness. And no doubt, dude, you know, Butchered at Birth still has the thrashiness. And dude, that's the coolest thing about the OG Barnes era, dude, is all these albums kind of sounded different, you know. And Butchered at Birth, dude, just some of the best songs were on here, dude. Vomit the Soul, you know, dude, Gutted, Meat Hook Sodomy. It's like every time I go to like name a track, I'm like, oh, I'll just read off the track list, but it always feels pointless, man. Regardless, dude, yeah, Butchered at Birth, dude, a very unique sound for Cannibal Corpse, man. I always just found this to be one of their more unique albums. Now, what I've been listening to too lately is a little bit more of the like the Wretched Spawn and stuff like that. Some of those early Corpse Grinder albums, like just after Vile, you know, Bloodthirst, that's another great one. Just because I love the work of Pat O'Brien, dude. Pat O'Brien was just such a nasty guitar player, and it's a shame he's no longer with Cannibal, but everything they did was just nasty. And again, dude, I'm hot take here. Besides the Barnes era, obviously the classic era is the classic era, but I really love that Kill, Evisceration, Plague, and what's the other one there? Torture. You know, that era. That era of Cannibal Corpse is, I don't know, I always just thought it was incredible. Such a great run of albums. But yeah, dude, again, going with that thrashier, rippier stuff, we got two more here, and we'll wrap this up. I just want to talk about Monstrosity one more time, because I'm just getting really into Monstrosity. And I haven't listened to this album much, dude. I've been listening more to Imperial Doom, which I also have sitting over here. I've been ripping this quite a bit, but I've already talked about this on video, so I figured I'd whip out Millennium. But I've really been loving one that I don't have, and that's In Dark Purity, man. I've been listening to that a lot. Just because, dude, you know what's cool about this band, man, is they maintain that OG OSDM sound, like that old, still get thrashiness, still get the, you know, the mids feel like up a little more, and the songwriting's there, but they keep you guessing to where, like, dude, they have so many riff change-ups and stuff like that where you're like, oh shit, you know, like, yeah, just incredible. I don't know what else to say about it, man. It's Monstrosity, dude. Like, incredible songwriting, really, is what it is. And it's funny, I heard someone say that, was it Ghoulish Grin, man? I think it was Ghoulish Grin. But I think he had a video come out that said, you know, drummers make the best songwriters. And dude, Lee Harris, I believe is, yeah, the drummer on here and on all of Monstrosity. But yeah, dude, that guy, yeah, just kills it, man. He's killed it through the years with this band. And the songwriting really is the most memorable thing about Monstrosity. And I guess that's the cool thing, dude, with a band like that, is they were really trying to write songs, dude. You know what I'm saying? And the last band, nice and thrashy, OSDM, I've talked about them, so I'll make it brief. Ripping Corpse, just shouting them one more time, because again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Nice thrashy riffs. And dude, again, if you haven't checked out my Reek of Death videos, go check it out, because these bootlegs are absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, dude, what sounds like this? Not much. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Hail OSDM. Oh, sorry, a little indigestion there. I was just ripping a meal prep. Anyways, that's gonna be it. What killed OSDM, by the way?